Good morning, everybody. I'm Stephanie Dahl with Dahl Fisher, one of the attorneys here, and we practice in the areas of estate planning, probate, business law, and real estate. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about communication with your loved ones and the people you have selected under your estate plan. And the reason I think this is so important is because when there is a breakdown in communication, it is where almost all of the issues arise, especially when we're dealing with probate or someone has become incapacitated. Because with lack of communication comes a lot of hurt feelings and trying to interpret documents and things like that. So what I always tell my clients is that it's a really good idea first when we're talking about who you've appointed. So when you've selected your power of attorney under your agent under your power of attorney, your medical, financial, first ask that person. Same thing with the guardian of your minor children or as a trustee. Make sure that that person wants to step into that role, because nothing is worse, I guess I should say, than something happening to a loved one and then being told you're stepping into that role and you had no idea. Because then you're trying to rack your brain of all the past conversations you've ever had to make sure you make the right decision for that person. So if you're going to, whomever you select in those roles, have a conversation with them before, make sure that they want to step into that role and that they're willing to. The second part of that conversation is then to talk to them about your wishes. Let them know how you feel. We will document all that we can in the written documents for your estate plan. But there's always little things that come up. And with your health, it comes around like your dignity and how long you want to be on certain treatment, and different things like that. Do you want to go forward with surgery or not move forward with surgery? All of those things are really particular to the person. And we just can't account for every situation that may arise in your medical power of attorney. So having a conversation with your agent, same thing with those that you've selected as your guardian or your trustee, having the conversations around what is important to you, what would you like to see happen? That is so key to allowing the person you have appointed to really step into the role that you've selected them for, and to do it with confidence. The second piece of communication under an estate plan is talking to your family. Now, a lot of times you will select a family member to be your agent under your powers of attorney, whether medical or financial, to be a trustee, to be the guardian of your children. Now, sometimes you don't. Regardless, having a conversation with your family about what is going to happen when something happens is key to them to understand why you've selected and to ask questions, because nothing is worse than if you select, let's say you select a family friend to step in as your agent under your medical power of attorney and you have 2 kids. Nothing is worse than them showing up to the hospital thinking one of them is going to step into that role, and you now have a piece of paper that says you've been selected as the agent. There are hurt feelings, and those kids are upset and they're frustrated and angry at mom or dad, except the issue, they can't be angry at mom or dad because mom or dad is not in a place to have a conversation. So that anger gets turned on you. And that's when the conflict arises within a family. So what we want to make sure we do is that when you have selected that person, not only do you talk to them, but if it's not going to be your kids or it's one kid over the other kid, to have a conversation and let them know, here's who I selected, here's why I selected that person, and kind of go through that. These things are so important. The more we can communicate about who you've selected and what your wishes are, we can decrease the amount of conflicts that come out of this and hopefully keep your estate out of court. And know that when I talk about communication, I am not talking about who you are leaving what assets to. That is nobody's business if you don't want to share that. But I do think it's so important to have conversations. And I know how hard these conversations are. I've had these conversations with my own family members, with my parents, with my husband, with my grandfather. So they are really hard conversations to have because none of us want to talk about our mortality. But at the end of the day, talking about it doesn't mean it's going to come true. All it does is you're making a plan. And so when it happens, because unfortunately we're all going to die, I'm sorry. But when it happens, long time from now, People know what you want. There aren't surprises, and people can spend their time dealing with the grief of losing you and not anger and frustration because something happened that they were not anticipating. So here at Doll Fisher, we believe how important it is to have an estate plan. So many people don't, and it is the key to saving your family a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money. And so we think it's so important, but a huge piece in having a comprehensive estate plan is really having communication around that estate plan. So always happy to answer any questions. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our phone number is 303-758-7700. Or you can find us online at dollfisher.com, and that's DAHLFISCHER.com. And our link to our calendars and everything is there if you want to schedule an education session, which we are consults and things like that to help you and kind of flesh out what you need for you. Thanks so much, and I hope everybody has a great day and learned something today.